into the grammar and vocabulary, let's start this lesson by some interesting fact. First of all, Bahasa is spoken by more than 200 million people. Imagine that. If you just simply know how to say hi or hello in Bahasa, you would be able to say hi to more than 200 million people. And I think you have heard about Bali. Bali is one part of Indonesia, and Indonesia also have 17,508 islands. So it means that if you go to Indonesia and travel Indonesia and go to Bali, you would be able to enjoy your vacation much more because now you can speak the local language, right? So those are some interesting facts about Bahasa, and now let's get started. In this lesson, you will first of all learn about formal and informal Bahasa. We will tell you what is formal Bahasa and what is informal Bahasa. And after that, we will learn some very basic grammar, and then we will learn some vocabulary, and also we will learn some sample sentences and create your very first sentences in Bahasa, so you can practice your Bahasa right away. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, let's start by explaining and telling you what is the difference between formal and informal Bahasa. So basically there are two types of Bahasa, formal and informal Bahasa. Formal Bahasa are Bahasa that is used for formal occasions. For example, business meeting, lecture, if you go to university in Indonesia or something like that, or if you meet a person for the very first time, you will usually need formal Bahasa, and you would usually use formal Bahasa. And then number two, we have informal Bahasa. This is a form of Bahasa that is usually used for like close friends or your family members or people or persons that you already know for a long time. And in these lessons and some future lessons, you will be introduced with formal Bahasa first, because you cannot go wrong usually with formal Bahasa, and usually you will use your Bahasa with people that you just know, right, to introduce yourself and stuff like that. And therefore it is much better if you know formal Bahasa first. But of course, in the future, you will learn informal Bahasa and talk more casually. So now let's just start this lesson by learning some grammar. As you know, grammar is the most important thing, very basic. It is important for you to understand very basic grammar of any language that you are learning. And today we're learning subject pronouns, okay? The subject pronoun of Bahasa, it is quite simple. Like number one is how to say I. I is saya, okay? I is saya. So it's not very complicated. So saya, I. And how you say you? You is kamu. So kamu. So you have kamu. And how do you say they? They is mereka. Okay, try to always say it up to me, so that you also learn to say it correctly. So again, how you say they? They is mereka. Mereka. Now how you say kami? Sorry, how you say we? How do you say we? We is kami. Kami. Okay, how do you say she or he? Now this is something interesting, because in Bahasa, there is no she and there is no he. You just simply say the same word, which is dia. Again, dia. Okay, and then how do you say it or that? It's itu. Again, itu. So those are the basic grammar that you will learn today, and those are the subject nouns in Bahasa. So now try to quiz yourself. So try not to look to the video if you're watching this on YouTube, or just test. Okay, I will say the English subject nouns and practice the question Bahasa version. Now say I. 1, 2, 3. Saya. How do you say they? Mereka. How do you see or he? 1, 2, 3. It's dia. So try to repeat that over and over. You master the pronouns in Bahasa. Okay. So yeah, after we have now learned about some grammar, now it's time for us to learn a little bit about vocabulary. So now let's learn about vocabulary. Kosakata Bahasa. Not too more kosakata now, but it's a bit advanced. But for now, we will learn 4 basic verbs that you use every day in your Bahasa, exercise. So how do you say eat? Eat is makan. Makan. How do you go? It's pergi. So as you can see here, we pronounce the R quite clearly. So it's kind of like Spanish. If you speak Spanish there, I think you will notice that Indonesian pronounce the R similar to Spanish language. To Spanish. So yeah, so pergi, pergi. And how do you say drink in Bahasa? It's minum, minum. And how to say buy? Buy is membeli, membeli. Okay, so again, try to read over and over again until you master. You can pronounce it comfortably. Now, before we move on, let's do useful expressions. I think learning expression is very important in your language learning, whatever language you are learning, because useful expression is something that you can use right away. You can already say, you can just say it to anyone really, when you just want to practice your language. Well, useful expression number one is hello. It's quite simple. Hello. Hello. Okay, hello. Hello. So the natural way of saying it would be hello. And we have good morning. It's selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. Selamat pagi. So the natural speed would be selamat pagi. The slow speed would be selamat pagi. Okay, so again, try to practice it as often as you can, so you can master it, as I've been multiple times by now. Now, after you have learned a little bit about and a little bit about vocabulary in Bahasa, it's time for us to create sample sentences so that you know more and you can create your first sentence in Bahasa. So these are 4 sample sentences that you learn today. One is hello, selamat pagi. That's the natural speed, and slow speed. Hello, selamat pagi. Okay, I hope you already know what this phrase means. Hello is hello, and selamat pagi is morning. So hello, selamat pagi is hello, morning. Okay. And number 2, saya pergi. Saya is I, and pergi is go. So saya pergi is I go. And I'll tell you good news here. So the good news here, at this point, you do not really need to conjugate verb. Unlike English, when you say she goes, and then you say go, you need the verb, you need to conjugate the verb go into go if you change the subject like to be or it, right? But for the Bahasa, you do not need that. You just simply use the same verb for any subject pronoun. For example, if you want to say it is sadi, you say she go, it is she goes, it is the pergi, you goes, pergi, they go, and on and so forth. So basically, it stays the same. Number 3 is mereka. Mereka is mereka they, and makan is they eat. The same if you want to say sits, you can just say makan. And the last one is dia minum. Dia, of course, when you say dia, you do not know the gender of the person, so you don't know he or he, right? So it will need preparation and it will need context, and the context will make clear. At this point, dia minum both means she drinks or he drinks. Okay? But if you change it into I drink, you can say saya minum. So very simple. And just know you can already make sense and practice your bahasa, right? So if you have understood, let's test yourself. How do you say we in bahasa? I'll use some time. We is kami, and is so we is kami, and about she is. Okay, so if you know the answer of those 2 questions, go write the answer to the comment sections and check, and we'll also correct if you are making a mistake. And it's fine to make a mistake. I made a lot of mistake when English the very first time, and I think now it's fine, really, right? So don't get rich if you still don't understand this lesson. Try to watch it over again if you're watching YouTube, or try to learn to it over and over again if you're listening to this podcast. Okay, so that's it. You can follow on Instagram the project for additional lessons. You can practice your Bahasa and join our community on facebook.com/Bahasa Little. You find our podcasts on Spotify, Google Podcasts, etc. And you can support us on Patreon.com/project exclusive content. And by exclusive content, you will be able to receive books on vocabulary of Bahasa, more simple sentences, more conversation, and also you'll join the Telegram, which you will be meeting your tutor there. I think you will be meeting me there, and then you can practice your Bahasa, you can ask questions. So that's the lesson, and we'll see you again in level 1, lesson 2. Bye. Hey, welcome back to Bahasa Project, and this is your level 1, lesson 2. Last time we have learned basic grammar about subject pronouns and also some basic verbs. And this time we'll continue the lesson and we will learn some more and clearer and more complex lessons. By the way, my name is Ait and I'm your tutor for this Bahasa lessons, and let's get started. Okay, we will start our lesson today by the grammar of time. How do you say today, and how tomorrow? Okay, so let's start with yesterday. How do you say yesterday? It is kemarin. Okay, again, read after me so that you can pronounce the word correctly. Kemarin. Actually, kemarin. Okay, that's yesterday. Now today is hari ini. Hari is basically day, and is this. So hari ini is actually this, or today is day, right? So again, today is hari ini. Hari ini. Okay, hari. And then we have tomorrow, which is besok. Besok. Okay, besok. Kemarin. Hari ini. So try to repeat it over and over again so you are feeling comfortable and you understand it. If you already do that, and let's not answer this very important. I think a lot of people are asking this question. Do we have this in Bahasa? The short answer is no, we don't have it. The long answer would be maybe not at best level. So that's why you don't worry. Basically, you want to think at this point again that We don't have tenses. Of course, we will discuss it in more detail in the future. So, okay. As I mentioned, see, for now, just try to memorize what is today, and tomorrow are in Bahasa. Now, I will answer my question. I will say English and you answer the Bahasa without watching video, learning to YouTube right now. Okay, how do you say yesterday? 1, 2, 3, right? How do you say today? Hari ini. How do you say tomorrow? 1, 2, 3, besok. Good job. If you already master them, we are ready to go on and deal with some vocabulary. So these are the words that we learn. Actually, we learn more system. So the first is cook or memasak. Memasak okay, is memasak. Study is belajar. Belajar. Okay, so cook, memasak, study, belajar. We have watch, menonton. Okay, again, memasak. Study, belajar. Watch, menonton. And then, which is mendengarkan. You can get a sound there. Kind of sound like French. Mendengarkan. And right, which is menulis. And have talk, berbicara. And then we have see, which is melihat. And then this one, bring, is membawa. Okay, so read it over and over again until again you're comfortable in the word. And try to teach it out. You can write it well. If you memorize all the words, now it's time to learn some useful expression. This is very useful when you are meeting your friend, your new friend. In Indonesian, you can say apa kabar. Apa means what, and kabar means news. So what news? What you doing? In case it means how are you? Okay. And don't mind if you hear some barking there. It's my neighbor. So go back. So how do you say how? It's apa kabar. Okay. Apa kabar. That's how you say apa kabar. So just speak with apa kabar. Okay. So yeah, some split sentences, the grammar, and also the verbs and expression that we learn. So we will learn 3 sentences. One is kemarin saya masak. Kemarin, remember to say kemarin. Kemarin is yesterday. So that's how you say yesterday. Masak kemarin. Okay. Saya is you already learned from your first lesson. I masak is cook. Alright. So kemarin masak in English it means yesterday. Now you see here again as at the basic level we don't have this in English. So thing. So if you want to say I cook every day, would be just saya masak setiap hari. You do not know what setiap hari means. If you want to know, it means every day. So saya stays no change, no condition, nothing. So change the verb. So kemarin masak means yes, I cook. Of course, in English, we did the word cook, right? In Indonesia, do not conjugate the word or the verb of stays. Kemarin saya masak, saya cook. And tomorrow, we will need to put some word, which translate it will, and that's something that we learn soon. But for now, make sure what kemarin saya masak means. Okay, so you say saya masak, cook. Again, sometimes it happens at the best level. So saya masak stay the same whether it is in past, in the present, in the future. There's some changes. But hari ini mereka. Hari ini is today, first right? Hari ini is day and is it. So hari ini mereka. There's the speed, the slow speed will be hari ini besok. Dia, you already know this. See or he, right? So dia akan. This is something that I talk about now. This is how you say will. This is how you will in Bahasa. We will offer this in more detail. But for now, just try to memorize that will is akan. Bahasa is akan. So si will, dia akan. I will, saya akan. They will, mereka akan. You will, kamu akan. Okay, dia akan nonton. See, he will watch, right? Menonton is watch. Besok is tomorrow. So dia akan nonton. Knowing the sentences now, you can create your own sentences and you can practice combining words you already know by saying and following the rules of grammar they haven't. So now I have to test yours. So how do you say yesterday? Yesterday is kemarin, right? And it's dia. He also dia and is menulis. Of course, if you remember that you do not conjugate the verb. You past tense or future tense, the verb says so. It's kemarin dia nulis bola. Okay. So for you and to do yourself. Based upon what you learn, try to answer the question if you want to. So you have 6 weeks to see it and to correct it. And also, if you have any questions about Bahasa, feel free to ask in or email also to bahasalittleproject@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Instagram @littleproject for additional lessons. You can practice on our Facebook group. You can find our podcast on Spotify. I hope it is already now Google Podcast. And also, you can support podcast.com/bahasalittleproject. Get contents and to join our system, which you would be able to practice me if you have any questions. So thank you for learning us. So that is your level lesson 2. I hope you have learned something. And see you next time. We will learn much more at level 1. Bye. Hey, welcome to Bahasa Level 1 Lesson 3. So far you have learned some English from the previous Level 1 Lesson 1, Level 1 Lesson 2. I hope you practice Bahasa and have used it in your daily life so that you are getting more comfortable using your new language. Okay, so for this lesson we will learn some grammar and some vocabulary to keep improving the level of Bahasa and also to keep making the sentence longer and more complicated. You already started. Number 1, we learn about adverb of place. Number 1 is to learn about verb, right? This time we learn about adverb of place. Number 1 is how to say at. It is be. It is also as simple as at, right? So it is at and then it has be. Okay, and then it is in. This kind of long, but it is be dalam. It has the same first word, which is be. So it is di dalam. Okay, on. What is di atas. Okay, so at is di. It is di dalam. And on is di atas. Okay, so those are the adverb ways that we will entertain. And we will also useful expression. I think and expression will be very useful for you in your daily usage language. So how do you say thank you? It's terima kasih. Okay, terima kasih. Terima means accept, receive, and kasih means or love. So you are receiving, accepting, or thank you. So thank you is terima kasih. The letter will be terima kasih, but the slow version would be terima kasih. Which is sorry. I think again it's useful when you listen or example you're all about to meeting and you need to say sorry. Sorry is maaf, maaf. Okay, so it's maaf, maaf. And then very simple, very meaningful expression is how you say yes, yes, yeah. Okay, so how you say yes, very simple. It's kind of also yes, is yeah, and then no is tidak, tidak. Okay, so we have how you say how to thank you. It is kasih, and then sorry, and then we also about how you say yes, which is yeah, similar to German, yeah, and also how we say no in tidak. Okay, so those are useful expressions that we learned, that we have learned the and the place. Okay, so it's time to learn some new vocabulary. So these are the vocabulary that we will teach our noun. Basically, number one is school, is sekolah, sekolah. Okay, sekolah. And home, which is rumah. Okay, and then the hospital, which is rumah sakit. Rumah again is home, house, and sakit means sick. Okay, so the house sick, the house sickness, so that's hospital. Okay, it's house or home, and then sakit is sick or being ill. And then we have park, which is taman. We have toilet, which is the same as toilet. So if you are emergency at the hospital, in or at the airport or anywhere, and you need to toilet, you can just say toilet, people will understand you. Okay, and then restaurant, also kind of similar, it originated from English, and then absorbed. Restaurant is restaurant. Okay, restaurant. We have police station, which is kantor polisi. Kantor is originated Dutch from the Netherlands language, right? Yeah, because it has very long relationship and history with Netherlands, so that's why we have several, Dutch language. I don't remember if that's the correct word. The Dutch language, and then we have policy. I hope that when you travel to Indonesia, you will not go to kantor polisi or a police station, but you do, then that's it. The question is kantor polisi. Okay, so we have 7 nouns: rumah sakit, taman, toilet, restaurant, and sorry, this is the end of Bahasa. Okay, and policy. So please try to always repeat it after I've said it or described it by yourself. We're gonna say it so that you can practice it again. So sekolah is sekolah, and is rumah, hospital is rumah sakit, park is taman, toilet is the same toilet, restaurant is restaurant, and police station is policy. Good job. Okay, again, practice again. You are not comfortable saying it, until comfortable saying it. And if you are already comfortable now, create some sentences. So you can create and build sample sentences or one sentence using the grammar and vocabulary. Okay, we'll learn 3 sample sentences today. So kemarin, if you don't know what it means, that means you have to check out the lessons because we have covered this in the previous lessons. Okay, so kemarin saya masak di rumah. You have learned the words di rumah, right? So di is at or in, right? So here is at home. So kemarin is yesterday I cooked at home, right? And hari ini mereka makan eat di restoran at restaurant. So they eat restaurant. And number 3, yes, of course, that's he or he will. You also have akan. There's a few times in I think lesson 2 have learned akan. So she will learn or study tomorrow at school. Okay, so you are of course you can create your own sentences upon the grammar that you have learned in the 3 lessons that you studied with, and also the vocabulary that you have learned. So let's start. Okay, so now yesterday you wrote blah 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 something. How do you say? 1, 2, 3. Of course, yesterday is line and 0. So you have the past tense, present tense too. So obviously you know that it is di and as something like that is di sekolah. Now 2, 3, try to do it by yourself. If like today he watched blah 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 at home. Or you say it in English. Also, yes, we will talk at police. Yes, we'll talk at police. How do you say it in Bahasa? If you what you try to make sure to write the answer, you answer at the comments below so we can check and we can correct if you okay. And if you're listening to this lesson podcast, you can check out YouTube so you can also see the transcript of the word, the grammar, and the vocabulary, the sentences we're using here. Okay, so that's the end of our lesson. Remember, you can follow Instagram at Bahasa for lessons. You can practice your Bahasa on Facebook group and Facebook page, and you can follow us on Spotify and you can support us on Patreon.com/Bahasa to get extra contents. You would more, and so you will be able to join exclusive Telegram groups if you support us on Patreon. Okay, so I hope this is useful for you. Try to practice Bahasa often as with friends, with your family, with us, and I will see you again at lesson 4 very soon. Hey, welcome to Bahasa Project, and this is lesson 4. Last time we have learned some verbs as well as some nouns, we have learned subjects, and we have learned the adverb of time, the adverb of place in Bahasa. If you haven't checked out, if you haven't listened or watched to those lessons, I really glad before we continue with the lesson. Okay, and if now it's the perfect time to improve Bahasa and continue of learning Bahasa. Okay, so grammar, and we will start by learning how to create negative sentences. So create negative sentences in Bahasa Indonesia. It is relatively simple because Do not, does not, did not, or will not, all of them equal to tidak. Okay, so again, do not, does not, did not, will not, all of the mean tidak in Bahasa. Tidak. Okay, repeat after me. Tidak. Tidak. Okay, so we will use this tidak to say no, and we will create sample sentences, of course, using word that we have learned. And as you just learned, this word is very to test yourself. Number one is, how do you say yesterday she did not see an artist at school? Number one is tidak is of course no, and then yesterday, kemarin, she did not see an artist at school. Dia tidak melihat seorang artis di sekolah. Okay, so for number 2 and number 3, try to test yourself and answer the 2 questions, and write down the questions. Write down the answer, your answer, in the comment section below if you are watching this lesson on YouTube. And if you are not watching this on YouTube, for example, if you are listening to this on Spotify or something, then go ahead, find it on YouTube. The channel is the same, Bahasa Little Project, so you can see the question here, and you can also participate in answering the question, and we will check your answer, and we will give you some correction if your answer is actually incorrect. Okay, so that's for our lesson number 4. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Bahasa Little Project for additional lessons. You can practice your Bahasa also by joining our Facebook page. You can find our podcast on Spotify if you haven't already. And the last one, this is quite important. Support us on patreon.com/Bahasa Little Project to get exclusive contents and exclusive Telegram group. Okay, so I hope this lesson is useful for you. Remember to always practice your Bahasa out there and use it with friends, with your new friend, with your new boyfriend or girlfriend from Indonesia, so that you will soon master the language. Okay, so my name is Alit, and that's the end of our lesson number 4. We will see you again at level 1, lesson 5. Bye. Welcome to Bahasa Little Project, and this is your level 1, lesson 5. Good job for those of you who have completed until lesson 5. I think if you have done your job, you now are able to create sample and simple sentences, right? I keep saying sample sentences. So now you are able to create positive sentences and negative sentences. You also know some grammar and also some vocabulary of Bahasa Indonesia. I think now you are excited. I hope you are excited. You are excited to learn more about Bahasa Indonesia, and here we go. We will start our lesson today by learning some grammar. And this grammar is obviously very, very important, because in this we will learn how to ask questions in Bahasa. Of course, when you're speaking, when you have conversation with your friend, you will not only answer the question, right? But sometimes to make the conversation going nicely, two sides to also ask question. And to ask question in Bahasa Indonesia, it is very simple. You just simply form a sentence. Of course, when you are saying the sentence, you need to raise your intonation at the end. So it's like, for example, maaf, apakah kemarin mereka menulis sebuah buku di sekolah dengan seorang guru? Oh, the normal version would be, apakah kemarin mereka menulis sebuah buku di sekolah dengan seorang guru? So practice it, practice makes better. So keep practicing it until you can, you can say it comfortably. Number 2 is, apakah hari ini dia makan di restoran dengan seorang teman? This is also very simple if you have mastered all the words that we have learned in previous lessons. Apakah means do, does, did, or will, right? And so here, apakah hari ini dia makan di restoran? It would mean, did he today, or did today he eat at restaurant with a friend? So apakah again do, does, did, or will? In this case it is a did because it is an action in the past, and hari ini is today, dia, she or he, right? Makan is it, di restoran is at restaurant, and dengan seorang teman with a friend. Okay, so apakah hari ini dia makan di restoran dengan seorang teman? Remember to raise your intonation at the end. Apakah hari ini dia makan di restoran dengan seorang teman? Okay, number 3 is apakah besok? Apakah besok? Of course, again, apakah is the question word here, and besok is tomorrow. So now you are creating the sentence in future tense. Apakah besok dia tidak akan? So here you are saying, apakah will tomorrow she not go? So not watch TV at home. So this is a little bit complicated because you are also not only using the interrogative form, but also you are using the negative form, which is tidak, right? Tidak means not. So